Let's talk more about the factory here. I know you've become, unfortunately, a subject matter expert on this. Can
Yeah.
you talk about the money that is being made here? Do you believe there was a heavy and significant financial incentive to castrate your son?
Yeah. So, first of all, Obama created an incentive by giving subsidies to insurance companies that pay for these procedures and mandated that the insurance companies pay for these procedures. That's the first thing. The second thing is the drugs that are used are among the most expensive drugs sold in the United States. The hospitals get a significant markup, and the pharmacology companies get tremendous profits from it. The estimates in the Texas gender clinics was that each child that goes into the gender clinic is approximately a $4.5 million lifetime income stream to these clinics because they can't get off the drugs. And once they have the surgeries, what it essentially amounts to is these children have an open wound. And the so-called gender-affirming care after they do the surgeries is functionally identical to outpatient wound care because they have to keep the wound open because the body will naturally close up and grow all this stuff back together. So they have to keep the wound open and have permanent lifetime wound care, which is very painful and very expensive and very lucrative for the clinics.
It's so sick. I mean, this is systemic, institutionalized child abuse. These kids become annuities. Is there
Yes.
anything non-legislatively, Jeff, that you look back that you wish you would have done differently, parentally? Things you would have known, signs you would have seen. I know this is a difficult topic for you to talk about, but is there anything that you look back that you say, I wish I would have known X, Y, Z, or ABC, and I want other parents to know this?
Well, a couple of things that I've really, very disturbing things that I've learned. In all the 50 states, it is perfectly legal, in some cases mandatory, for licensed care providers, that's nurses, doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists, even teachers, they're licensed care providers, social workers, daycare workers are licensed care providers. They are allowed in all 50 states to exert a right of privacy for your child against you, the parent. And they don't have to tell you that they have exerted such a right of privacy. That's the legal basis on which schools have been transitioning children against behind the parent's back. They're exerting this legal right of privacy they have. One of the things that I learned is you should never leave your children alone with licensed care providers. A lot of pediatricians are trained to ask the parent to leave the room during one part of a well check exam, for example, for your child. And they ask your children all kinds of questions about sexual activity and all kinds of things about you. Never leave your children alone with licensed care providers. That has a certain corollary when you think about the public schools. You're going to have to get your kids out of public schools and get them into private Christian schools or homeschooling because the states, in many cases, the states require the teacher to affirm your child behind your back.
Jeff, how can people support you and your family in this terrible situation?
Look, it's really simple. Get involved in your local community and make sure your schools are not transitioning children. Make sure that your state passes laws against it. While the liberal states have passed these transgender kidnapping bills, none of the conservative states, including Texas, has passed transgender sanctuary laws, which protect children who come to Texas. If a child comes to the state of Texas or a conservative state, we should not return that child to another state where they'll be sexually abused. And so we need to pass our own sanctuary laws and try to get that done in your states. That's really the most important way you can support me is by making your state safe for children.